Hello everyone, welcome back to Exploring the Coast with Hannah, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be learning about the market squid and taking a look at its life history, anatomy, as well as its local importance right here in Monterey Bay. Let's get started.
Since market squid are animals, they are in the Animalia kingdom. Their phylum is Mollusca, which is one of the largest phylums. Many animals you find here in Monterey Bay are in this phylum, which include mussels, oysters, clams, chitons, limpets, and sea snails. The word mollusca actually means foot. Their class is Cephalopoda. This includes octopods, cuttlefish, and nautiluses. The word cephalopoda means head foot. Market squid have a very wide distribution along the west coast of North America. You can find them from southern Alaska all the way down to Baja California. They also go by a couple of other names, like the Pacific loligo squid and also the opalescent inshore squid. They have very short lifespans and only live up to 6 to 9 months. They can be up to 1 foot in length. Their main prey are crustaceans, fishes, and other squid species. Some of their predators are marine mammals, seabirds, larger fishes, and people. Similar to cephalopods, squid spawn just before they are about to die. Basically, they live to reproduce. This is why market squid can replace their entire population semi-annually, making them a very self-sustaining fishery despite increased fishing pressures that may happen. This spawning occurs April through October here on the Central Coast. Since the spawning occurs inshore, you will see many boats out in the bay fishing for squid. Have you seen them out lately the past few months? I know I have. Squid egg casings can hold 200 to 300 eggs. Females can have up to 20 of these cases during spawning. Females will secrete a sticky substance once the eggs are fertilized that helps the cases attach to the sandy bottom near shore. The function of fins on a squid is to help aid in balance and direction. The mantle is the body of the squid and it holds all of its internal organs. Chromatophores are pigment cells that cover the entire body of the squid. They can expand and contract these cells in order to change their colors. They can use this as a means of camouflage to protect themselves against predators. They can use it to communicate to other squid, and they also use it to attract mates. The eyes on a squid are very large in proportion to their size, and they are the closest to human eyes, but are not fully circular like ours. The lenses are concave, so they have somewhat binocular-like eyes and can see in low light at great depths. Squid have 8 arms and 2 tentacles. The longer tentacles are used to catch prey, and then the tentacles bring up the food to the arms and then to the mouth. Both the arms and the tentacles have suction cups on them to help aid in bringing food in and capturing prey. The siphon is a muscular structure on the squid that expels water out of the mantle. It can be used as a means of jet propulsion to help them swim and escape predators quickly.
So now we're going to look over the external anatomy. So here are the fins that were just described. Okay, 2 fins on either side. This portion here is what is the mantle. Then we have the eyes here on either side. And then as you can see here, we have the arms and the tentacles. And do you remember how many arms these squid have? Well, let's count them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have the 8 arms, and then we have the 2 long tentacles. And then if we flip it over, so this is looking at the dorsal side, we're going to be looking at the ventral side right here. You can see this long portion that's sticking out, that's funnel-like, that is the siphon.
Squid have a set of gills that are located on either side of the mantle. Squid have 3 hearts. They have 2 gill hearts, which are called brachial hearts, and they also have 1 systematic heart that pumps blood to the rest of the body. Squid have an ink sac that they use to expel a dark cloud of ink in order to confuse predators.
So now that we actually have the squid flipped over on the ventral side, and so how do I know whether it is the ventral side meeting belly side or whether it's the dorsal side meaning the back side is that on your squid you can kind of feel either side of the mantle, and there's going to be one side of the mantle that is much softer than the other. Okay? And so the side of the mantle where it feels a little bit harder is actually the dorsal side, and it feels harder because this is where the pen lies. And we're going to go over that in just a little bit in the presentation, and I'll also be taking it out of the squid so we can get a closer look. So we're going to flip this over, all right, to the ventral side. So we wanted it to be on the soft side, because if we were to try to cut on the dorsal side or the back side where the pen is, it would make it really difficult to do. So we're going to cut up through the center line of the mantle. So remember, that is the body cavity of the squid. This is where it holds all its internal organs, right? And so if you watch the sand crab video a few videos back on that dissection, it's kind of the same principle of butterflying it open. So basically, cutting open the mantle and then kind of lifting out the flaps of it, so that way it exposes the central mantle and to show all the different organs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, and remember, this is kind of how we described it when we were doing the sand crab dissection, is you want to cut it like tissue paper or wrapping paper. And you don't want to cut too deep because you don't want to cut the internal organs inside. So as you can see here, I kind of flip up on the flap. So I'm just cutting the outer part of the mantle. And so as I move my hands around, we're going to cut straight up. Okay, just like that. Okay, as you can see, I'm cutting straight up and down into the very top of the mantle. Again, be careful so that you don't cut it in half and cut the internal organs. Again, just like a butterfly, we're going to open up the flaps so it exposes the mantle. Now, let's take a look at a few things. So, right offhand, do you think you can find where the ink sac is? What do you think that would look like? Yep, you guessed it, this silvery pouch right here. This is actually the ink sac. So this is what the squid uses to ward off predators, and so they can get away from them. So they squirt out that ink to distract their predators while they swim away. So it has that silvery pouch right here. Okay. Now let's try and find the gills. So if we are looking here, they're on either side, so they kind of look like little wings. So here's one part of the gills. So as you can see, it's right here. And then as we look a little bit further, here is the other gill on this side. So these little feathery-like appendages. That is what is known as the gills. So that's what helps them breathe. Okay? And as you can see here, a little bit closer up of the ink sac. Okay. Now, the fun fact about squid is that they have three, kind of 1, 2, 3 hearts. So they have one systematic heart that helps pump blood throughout the body, but they also have 2 hearts, right, along that pump blood to their gills. So 2 gill hearts, so we call those brachial hearts, and then 1 systematic heart, which is kind of underneath here, and we'll try to look for it here in just a minute, where it pumps blood to the rest of the body. So this part right here is called the satium, and it is part of the digestive system of the squid. And then if we take a closer look right here, okay, this lets us know whether it's male or female. So male testes have, the coloration of it is more of a milky color, and females have a yellowish, more gooey color to it. So we can look right here and know that this is actually a male and not a female. On females, you can definitely tell the coloration's much darker, more yellowish, as I just described, and usually in a lot of them you can actually see the eggs right here at the top, which is really cool. So this here we actually have a male. I have now flipped the squid onto its dorsal side, so that's its back side. So this is the side where it has the pen. So the pen runs from the base of the mantle all the way up to the top, center between the fins. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the pen out. So I will take my scissors, and what you do is you're going to snip right here at the end, okay? So you're just going to snip that part off, and then you're going to lift up, and you're going to kind of pull the mantle off of the pen, so we can already see that the pen is right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out. So here you can see the pen, and I'm just going to pull it out just like that. So it pulls right out. So this is the thing, if you're ever eating calamari, usually the restaurants always have to take these guys out. So as you can see, the pen is just as long as the mantle, and it gets the name pen because if you look, it looks just like an old writing pen here. So the shell is to help hold together the mantle. It also is an indicator that squids actually were shell organisms long ago, and through evolution they ended up losing most of their shells, and this is kind of the remnants of it. And a fun thing that we're going to do here in just a second is to actually write your name with the pen using the ink sac. So let's go ahead and try that. So to write your name with the pen, you just find where the ink sac is. So it's right here. So I'm going to open it up just a little bit with my tweezers just so we can get some of that ink out. And we'll see if we can write our name. There we go. So opened up a little bit of it out, just like that, so you can see the ink actually coming out. All right, and see, then I can write my name. It's a little bit harder to see on here, but look, see, I can put my name and you can scribble. So that can be a fun activity once you've kind of looked over the anatomy to see if you can use the pen and ink made from the squid. Now we're going to take a look at the beak. So it gets the name beak because their mouths look just like that, just as a bird's beak. They use it to crush hard-shelled organisms like clams and oysters. So as you can see here, this dark spot, that's actually the beak. So they can actually release a venom to mobilize their prey. And as you can see right here, how it curves. So just like a bird of prey, like a hawk or an eagle's beak. So it's very sharp, and they can release that venom out to stun and kill their prey. And as you can see here, if I can push up just a little bit more on it, you can see this is definitely not something that you want to bite you, because they definitely do some damage, especially when you have like those large squids like the Humboldt squid or the giant squid. Some of their beaks can be as big as a basketball. So this one is obviously much smaller. As you can see, it gets the name beak because their mouths look just like that, just like a bird's beak. So here's the top and here's the bottom part of that beak.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacqueline and I'm the Community Science Outreach Coordinator for the Pacific Grove Museum of Natural History. And welcome to my kitchen. Hannah just taught us about the California market squid. So if you were able to get fresh squid for your dissection, we're going to take what's left and turn it into delicious calamari. We don't want to be wasteful if we don't have to be. Let's get started. To make calamari, you're going to need flour. You can also use panko or breadcrumbs. Seasoning, I like garlic, pepper, and cayenne pepper, but you can add any seasonings you like, and vegetable oil, but I don't have any, so I'm going to use olive oil. You want to make sure that the fins and chromatophores are removed. So the part of the squid that we're going to make calamari out of is the mantle. That's this part here. Everything else can be thrown away, or if you have your fishing license, it makes really good bait. So to prepare your mantle, we need to remove all of this off of it. All right, once you've removed the body from the mantle, you're going to want to rinse the mantle in fresh water and pat dry. Once it's dry, you can cut it in half, and these are the pieces that you're going to bread in your flour. So you're going to want to mix your flour and your spices together in a bowl, and we're going to coat our pieces of mantle in our flour. Now, if you're using panko or breadcrumbs, I highly recommend using eggs. So you would dip your piece into egg and then put it into your breadcrumbs or panko. I don't have any eggs, and you don't really need them if you're just using a flour mixture. And you're going to bread them and get ready to fry. So at this point, I like to start heating up my oil. Once you are done breading and seasoning your squid mantles, you're going to make sure that the oil is hot before you place them in the oil. Now, you're going to cook your mantles on high for about 2 to 3 minutes, and they're going to curl up. So you can always put more oil in your pot to cover the calamari completely, or you can just keep turning them over while they cook. Now, after it's been about 3-ish minutes and they're getting this nice golden brown color, you can take them out and place them on a plate or a paper towel to drain. Wait for your calamari pieces to cool and serve them with your favorite dipping sauces. I hope you learned something new about the California market squid and found a new recipe to add to your cookbook. Thank you for tuning in and supporting our local fisheries.
If you'd like to do your own squid dissection, please consider supporting our local squid fishery right here in Monterey Bay. Below is a list of companies that sell local and fresh market squid. Give them a call. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget a new video of exploring the coast with Hannah drops every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on the Pacific Grove Museum of Natural History's website on the Museum to You page.